Hi, my name is Heaven, and I'm going to be showing you how to do a zombie face paint today. I went ahead and already did half of my face in the base green that you'll be using, just to save some time so you don't have to sit here and watch me put green on my face for 15 minutes. The products that you'll need and the supplies you'll need are some just different sized makeup brushes or paint brushes. You can get these at Walmart for like really cheap. They'll have a bunch of different sizes. You'll want some finer point brushes and you'll want some kind of rounded edge brushes. Uh, and you'll just want a couple of them for the different things that I'll be showing you. You'll also want some makeup applicators. If you don't have actual makeup sponges or you didn't get makeup sponges, you can use the foam paintbrushes that have the wooden handles. You can just pop the foam part off and use it as a makeup applicator. It works just as well. Um, the makeups you will be needing are white, black, green, and red. These specific paints that I'm using are grease paints. Um, but if you have a like water activated color palette that you got from the store, that works just as well as well. You don't need to worry about the products not matching because anything will work. Um, Make sure you wash your face before you start doing this. You always want to start any makeup that you do with a clean face, just so you don't have a bunch of grease and dirt and grime on there because it will affect the way the makeup sits. And putting more gunk on top of a face that isn't clean will not do anything good for your pores, I promise. So we're going to go ahead and finish the green base of this. So you'll just pat this on or smear it on or whatever way works best for you, as long as you have a nice, even, and solid coating of everything. You don't want any, light spots, any skin color showing through. So you want to make sure it's solid and good. I try to do this as quick as I can, because this is the least interesting part. For your eyebrows, you can just cover them up, just smear it over them. A lot of professional makeup artists will glue their eyebrows down or their clients' eyebrows down for something like this. It's not necessary for this look because you can paint over them and around them and you'll still get the same effect as you would if you were to glue your eyebrows down. You're going to want to make sure you go as far up as you can, kind of smudge the makeup into your hairline some, just so you don't have any of your natural skin tone showing through, just because it looks a little funky by the time you're done. By the end of this base coat, you should look very much like the Wicked Witch of the West. Uh, and I usually put something around my head to hold back any stray hairs, just so I don't have little baby hairs dangling into the makeup that I'm doing. And you don't have to like reach in and smudge what you're working on to pull any hair out. And for your neck, you'll just drag it down as far as you want to go. If you were to do this for an actual like theater production or any kind of show or any kind of like photo that you were doing, you would want to make sure that the green goes as far as the collar of whatever you're wearing, or even a little past the collar of whatever you're wearing, just so that it covers everything and you don't have to worry about your natural skin tone showing through on your neck either. What you'll most likely find in a store is called cream paint. And it's essentially the same thing as grease paint, it's just made up of different components and not as difficult to get off. And when you're doing your ears, you don't have to make them as even as everything else. I kind of just lightly dab that on to the surfaces. Um, it's not as important as the solid base of your face. But if you want to go in and just like cake it on your ears so you match, feel free. Um, I personally don't when it comes to things like this, um, just because it's really hard to get out of your ears. Because, I mean, it gets in there, it gets in, and it's hard to get out. Alrighty, so our whole face is covered pretty evenly. Like I said, Wicked Witch of the West. Going back over, getting a closer look, making sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, cool. So now that you're done with the green, you can set it to the side. You're gonna get makeup on your hands if you're using a sponge. Um, if you want to, you can take a bigger brush, something this size or even bigger if you bought it, and you can just paint it on if you want to. But if you use a sponge, it gives you a better um, base to work from, and it just blends it better and lets it set better than it would with a paintbrush. All right, so next I have a mixture of black and green that I made. It's a couple of shades darker than this, and that's what we're going to use to do all of the depth and the definition of the sunken in, sickly, dead face. So I'm going to take a kind of finer point paintbrush, and I'm going to take the green that I mixed. Um, And with the green, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just mix it until it looks right, as long as it's, a couple of shades darker than what you're putting on your face. And if you start something and you realize, oh, not dark enough, just add a little bit more black to it and everything will be fine. So I'm going to put out my mirror. So what we're going to do first is the brow bone, because when you're dead, um, the highest points of your face will be the most prominent because your skin starts to sink in, your muscles are dying and decaying, and it's it's very high risen on the brow, the cheekbones, and your cheeks are really sunken in and your eyes are really sunken in. So for your brow, you'll want to start like right where your brow bone starts. And the best part about this is that you can kind of feel out and your face will naturally map for you where you need to make your lines. So it should be really cool and really simple and pretty easy. So right where your brow bone starts, you'll want to take your darker green and you'll want to kind of draw a curved line that curves and goes up, and you can do it right on the bottom of your eyebrow. So just like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just a little curve. And then go right under, kind of overlapping with your eyebrow. All right. So now you have your brow bone outlined. Makes it look very in your face and prominent. Next, we're going to be doing the sunken in eyes. And for that, you can take the same makeup sponge or a clean one if you want. Um, and you can take your dark green and you will go over your top eyelid. And then you'll bring it down to the bottom part of your eye. And you'll just go over it a couple of times until you get the darkness that you want. And just pat it on. And you might accidentally kind of wipe away some of the green on this, and that's fine. Just go back over it with uh, the dark green that you're using to cover up any spaces that you might smudge. All right, so just like that, nice, good, sunken in space. And then you'll also want to go down the side of the bridge of your nose just to give that some depth as well. So just gently pat this all on. You don't need to be rough with it. Any lady in the class that knows about contouring and does their makeup knows this one right here. And it's essentially the same thing. You're just over contouring all of the darks, the dark areas on your face, all your low lights. So we'll do the next eye now. And then that little side spot on your nose. And you should look something like this. Sunken in and spooky. I'll go back over the bottom one more time. All right. Some nice dark eyes. And next we're going to do through here, through your cheekbones, to kind of sink that in as well. And I'm going to start with a brush on this one, and then I'll blend it out with the makeup sponge. So where you want to do this is where, like right below where your cheekbone is, and then you'll kind of bring it down right through here, where your skull naturally goes in to where it starts with your maxilla. So where the top bone where your teeth connect. So you go right about here on your face. You can kind of gauge where you need to start based on where the top of your ear connects diagonally down, like right there. So you go around and down, just like that. There's a slight curve to it because there's a curve to your skull where your cheekbones lie. Just like that. And then you'll take your sponge and you'll just kind of blend it down. Or blend it out, I guess. And then we'll take a little bit more of your dark green with your sponge, and you'll just go back over it. Using the paintbrush first is kind of just a baseline for where you'll need to start. After you make that baseline, you can do the rest of it all with just the sponge. Alright, so we got that blended in, and now we've got a lovely, nice face sunken in look going on. And depending on how dead you want to look, you can, move it farther down just to show more sinking. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So right about there, in and go down. And this doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical, it doesn't have to fall on the exact same spot on both sides. As long as it's in the general area, you're good. Bring that down. And blend that line out. Add a little bit more, just like we did on the other side. All right, there you go. So that's what you should kind of have, what it should kind of look like. Then next, the bone right here where your temples are. So that kind of naturally sinks in a little bit. And so right on that spot, you want to draw like a little half circle, starting like right above your eyebrow a little bit, and then curve it down right before you get to your cheekbone. So it should be right about there, and the circle can be as wide or as thin as you want it. It doesn't particularly matter as long as it's kind of a half circle. Other side, right above the eyebrow. Curve it right before it gets to your cheekbone. And then with this, we're also going to blend it out, or blend it back towards your hairline, just to give it some depth. So you just pat on it a little bit. And if you do get the sponge paintbrushes, those are also angled similarly to a makeup sponge, and you can fold it and bend it to match whatever space that you are going into with your makeup so that you have more control over what you're doing. And I think we just need to make this a little bit darker, so I'm going to get a little bit more makeup on this sponge. Just going to go back in and pat some more on. Perfect. So this is your zombie base, as far as just your basic sunken in features and sunken in eyes and all that jazz. And the next thing that we're going to do is a kind of like a ripped patch out of the face so that there's like teeth showing from the inside. We'll do a little bit of three-dimensional looking, give some depth as to like viewing inside of the mouth. Um, so this is when you'll need one of your kind of rounded edge brushes. And the reason you want the rounded edge, is because that's going to be good for drawing your teeth. So when you go for the top row, you'll want the curved edge pointing down so you can shape it upward. And then for the bottom row of teeth, you'll want it this way so you can go down to shape your teeth. Because your teeth are kind of rounded where they meet. So I'm going to do a patch kind of like right through here on the cheek a little bit. You can do it on either side you want. You can do teeth starting at the very corner of your mouth if you would like. It's totally personal preference. I'm going to do like a small patch right by the cheek though. So you would kind of just follow where your teeth naturally lie. Adjust myself here. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, rounded edge for the upper top part, pointing down. So there's my first tooth. And it will kind of blend with the green. That's totally fine. It happens all the time. So just take a little bit more of your white and go back over it to give it a better base. Tooth 2. And tooth 3. And then you'll just do the same on the bottom. And when you're using your brushes, you only need to put paint on the tips of them, or just a little past the tip. You never need to, you know, get makeup through the entire brush because you will never get to the makeup that's at the very, very top that connects to the metal piece. So you only need to use about half of the amount of bristles that are on the brush. It also is just way harder to clean if you get it dunked up all the way into the top of there. All right, so there's my teeth. Very nice pearly whites. And next, we're going to take we're going to take another kind of smaller, thinner brush, and with just regular black paint, we're going to go in between each of the teeth, just the spaces in between them, through the middle and a little bit through the sides. Don't curl the tops because you have gums, so you'll need to paint those red. So the black part in between is just to show a little bit more depth. And the black will also help to define each individual tooth better so that you can kind of tell what they are. All right, so I framed all of my teeth And they kind of look like that now. And next we're going to take that same dark green that we used for all of the shading. And this part can be totally freehand. Um, you don't need to follow a specific pattern or anything like that. This is for the, jagged, raw openings of, you know, piece of flesh being torn away or rotting away or whatever. So I'm just going to do some just free-handed kind of lines going through here. And if you even wanted to show some more dimension, you could do a line going down into your teeth that you drew and paint it over with the green that you used as your base. So it kind of has more of a three-dimensional aspect. So I'll do that. I'll show you that. All right, so just like that is your lines for your open space. You just go over anything that looks a little too light. And then with a new clean brush for that space going down, you'll just get your green, your original green base. Get some of that on the brush. And you'll just paint right over those teeth. So that now it kind of looks like there's a piece of flesh going down over it. And then the final step for this is the red. So you'll take your red color and you'll fill your brush up with it. Remember, just the end of your brush, don't do the whole thing. And then in between all of the spaces, the border lines and the teeth, we'll just fill it in with the red. And the same rule applies with the red as it did with the teeth. If your colors kind of blend from that darker borderline that you made, or the white kind of goes in and makes it pink, just go back over with your red again so you can get the color that you want. And there you go. So now you have a ripped open face with your teeth showing, your nasty dead person teeth. And this is it. This is the look. This is the zombie makeup. Um, a last thing you can do just for fun, you don't have to do it, but I always do this when I do zombie makeup just because I'm studying horror makeup and it's going to be a career. Um, you can mix some black and red and kind of make a darker red tone. And with your makeup sponge or your paintbrush sponge, you can kind of tear little pieces out of it, and you're kind of making a simulated stipple sponge. And the stipple sponge is a kind of like a rough black sponge that has a lot of aeration and holes in it. And it's really good for different textures and all kinds of things like that. Um, so you just pick out a couple of little spaces so it kind of looks honeycombed. And then you take your darker bloodish looking red and you just dab that on your brush, and then you can put it all over your mouth. Makes it look like you just had a nice zombie feast. And it's fun and it's almost Halloween, so you might as well. Um, and then you can take down your hair or whatever you have going on, and there it is. Thanks for watching. I hope you find this informative and helpful in some way. Um, everyone stay safe. These times are hard, so do what you can. Be safe, wash your hands, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.